The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, real estate investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
All right. Welcome to Primetime Home Buyers, and you're here with your host, Lashley. And today we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of investing in tax liens and tax deeds across the United States. So you know that I'm a tax lien and tax deed expert. I consider myself an expert. I have been investing over 5 years now, and because I love to do my due diligence, I have went through the ups, downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So today we're going to share that with you. Earlier this week on Monday, we went into, I believe we were talking about disclosures agreements. I hope you guys enjoyed that content. We try to get formal most times as well as be informal. So today is going to be an informal live where you're going to hear me just talk. Rumble, if you have any questions or you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment. I'm going to be checking back and forth on Rumble because your questions or comment don't come up on StreamYard. So today, let's talk about it. Now, I made a live prior to this talking about how I started to invest in tax liens and tax deeds. Rumble, I will be uploading that this week, as well as I will be uploading a introductory video related to the risks. The risk factors investing in tax liens and tax deeds is going to be more formal than this. It's going to be a PowerPoint. It's one of the videos that we do have in our membership. So what we do with our membership, because we're going to go in that because we're updating the membership. That's why I didn't go live earlier. I've really been just like getting into it. You know how the metaverse is. You got to keep up with that and continue to update the website. So I was working on that. I got many more videos just for the membership. And as you know, the membership is $19.99 a year. So in the first portion that I worked on today is about 21 videos. That's just in the members only section, first section. And we have 3 sections right now. So just that alone will, let you know how much information we have for you. And if you know Lashley, I try to put it in a comprehensive format, which, the information will flow off of each other. But membership, as I say, that particular portion of our school, online tax lien and tax deed school, is for people who are already tax lien and tax deed investors who feel like they got a good grip on the basics information and they've been doing it for a couple of years, but it's just some things that they just want to hone in on, have a content about. And as you know, we always updating and trying to keep our content as fresh as possible. Who talks about disclosure agreements for a home? Huh? And make it so good in detail. So those type of things will be continue to be uploaded on our membership videos. There'll be some things on public platforms and most things not. But what we continue to do is go live on Friday. At the end of this broadcast, we're going to show you our members only section, give you a sneak peek. Now, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right. Now, when I first started investing in tax lien and tax deeds, just to give you a brief synopsis, it was a tragedy story, a broken heart story, me having a good heart, about to get scammed by a man. I learned about the tax lien and tax deed process. So like I said, if you want to know about that particular situation, from a tragedy to turn good, almost got locked up and everything. I'm a regular person, y'all. I know I said I'm a nurse, but I'm not perfect. Okay, that story is very interesting, but it catapulted me into tax liens and tax deed investments. So let's get to it. The first county that I invested in was actually Queen Anne County in Maryland. Maryland has been my mother, not my mother, how can I say my baby for the last couple of years because that has been a location that I found convenient to travel, as well as it had the scenery and the agriculture that I wanted. As far as looking for land and looking for more land that may be fertile, as well as government programs that focus on solar programs. They have a lot of that stuff. So that's why we refer you to resources like NACO so you can find out about the county, the state before you even get in, because as a tax lien and tax deed investor, you have many options to do things with your land. You know, we don't get in just to buy a house to live in. We get in because we need property, we want land, we want to flip it, we want to keep it, we may want to pass it off to as generational wealth. Okay. So in Queen Anne County, I went in. Because the counties that I chose was the ones that was over the counter. As I told you guys, I am skeptical of everything. Most things. So I always question stuff and I take my time. So I found the most safest way was to go through the over the counter method. So most of the counties that I dealt with in Maryland was over the counter. Okay. So I'm definitely an over the counter expert. A lot of people say that they are a lot of junk property or junk land and over the counter because those are the leftovers. But I know how to fish out the good stuff. If you are one of the people who don't want to go to the auction, not really into that type of environment, high pace, saying, well, 1,000, 1,000, that's the way to go. Okay. So what that goes to say, I invested about 5 properties in Queen Anne County, and at that time, that's why I suggest for you to start with one county and possibly 1 or 2 investments. So I went in, I did 5. I was like, okay, this is going to be good. But what I did notice that out of the 5 properties, 2 of them were basically the same owner and they were a business development. So as we talk about, when you look at over the counter or any tax lien list, when you see consecutive list of a home that has an owner that says, let's say property LLC, you'll know that, and also that they have the same price range of taxes that owe. You'll know kind of that is a business, that's possibly a cul-de-sac, and that is most likely a property that's going to be redeemable. Because any developer, most of them don't pay the taxes. I'm just telling you a little secret. They don't pay the taxes until the land is sold, especially because they have so many parcels being made. Some things could fall under the radar. So what happens is they get on the tax lien list, and investors like me and you can say, oh, that's 5 of them. $5,000, let's pay the $5,000 that they owe. And once they're ready to sell that parcel, they have to pay you. Most likely, if it gets to the point that you have to actually move forward and do a foreclosure process, and I'm talking about Maryland in itself, because all states don't need a formal foreclosure process, as you know, because we broke down all of the states. If you want to see that, please go on YouTube before they disappear. Okay, because they will be in our member only section in the next couple of weeks. So with that goes to say, over there in Queen Anne County, we went in and I'm going back into understanding when you have a property that's going to be redeemable. So out of those 5 properties, 2 of them were owned by the same company. So I knew that they were going to be redeemable. So that was the first success that I actually had, because when they were time for them to sell those particular parcels, they had to pay me. So the investment was like $2,500 each. I made probably like an interest rate of 175, probably 200, nothing more than that. But it was success to me because it was about 6 months later. Okay. And you do know in the state of Maryland, in 6 months, you can move forward with the tax foreclosure process. But keep in mind, when you're doing it over the counter, you need to understand that the actual redemption period starts from the day of the tax sale, not the day that you purchased it over the counter. So I'm giving you a lot of hints and tips. So just keep this in mind so you don't get mixed up and mix your redemption date, because that actually leads to my second situation where I had a really bad issue with this same county. Okay. So I had 3 properties left. And I went to the lawyer and said, hey, I want to foreclose on these properties. But prior to that, no matter of fact, when I went to the lawyer to foreclose on the properties, he said, okay, we can move forward with two of them, but one of them are no, two of them are expired. It was two that was expired, and one we can move forward with. So it just so happens when I called the county, the tax certificate had expired just about less than 2 weeks. Then I went to move forward to foreclose on them because as a new tax lien investor, I'm gonna be honest, I made a big mistake. I did not. That's why I stress things. I stress to use the mistakes that I made. I did not know that the redemption period started from the tax lien day of the sale. I did not know. I thought it was the day that I bought it. That when I was reading the law, that's what it looked like to me. Sometimes it just. So I was like, oh my God, this tax lien certificates, both of them expired. So I'm looking, and I'm praying. And I started reading because I know more than just, you finding law and things like that. I understand the concept of contract law. And also when you're disclosing on the sale as far as the receipt, it has to reflect exactly what the contract is between you and the party. So make a long story short, because I shared this story, um, I looked at the tax lien and I realized that the way they wrote the tax lien up indicated that I bought it on the day of it was transferred to me. Okay. So does this make sense? On the actual instrument, it said that I bought it the day it was sold to me. And the way it was written out was as though that was the day of the original tax sale. Okay. What was supposed to be on the instrument was tax certificate redeemed by the county on this particular day of the tax sale. There was supposed to be another portion on this tax instrument that said then it was transferred from the county to the investor, i.e., me. And that will be a full bill of sale reflecting exactly what it was. So, me as a person that may totally don't understand what I'm getting into, I was able to go forward with the lawsuit because of the way they wrote the tax certificate up. Okay. This is very important because if you end up in a situation like this, you want to know some back doors because this is how law works. There always a back door. You want to know how Trump get out of stuff, and you be like, no, he guilty. He guilty. It's because there's back doors to everything in the law of America. You just need to figure it out. So with that goes to say, because the instrument was written incorrectly, we had a lawsuit. So about 2 years, I pursued the county of Queen Anne County for these two tax certificates to either be fully refunded to me and I wanted the interest. Okay. So just to give you an update on the last tax certificate that was outstanding, it ended up redeeming where the person ended up paying it. And I think I got probably like, I don't know why, because it wasn't a big purchase. So it was like $40 interest. I know it was not that much because I was upset about the lawsuit. And the last redemption wasn't a lot of money, but it was something. So I was glad that at least I was able to encounter 3 redemptions, which had owners in the home at that time, and they redeemed their property. Okay. Even though it was in the over the counter tax lien. So people think that can't happen, but it did happen. Okay. So now moving forward, make a long story short, I tell you about this story. I was pressuring my lawyer. I was guiding my lawyer because he didn't understand contract law a lot and constitutional law. So that was some of the things that we were kind of going back and forth on, educating him about. I'll bring up certain concepts and he'll know where to specifically find it and then prove those concepts. That was when I was like at the adolescent stage of learning how to be a legal nursing consultant. I was taking the course, learning how to research. So I'm kind of giving you the build up. So the good, bad, and the ugly. So make a long story short, the county ended up settling with me. Yes, they did. They settled with me. I wasn't too pleased with the total ending because I wanted interest. I wanted money loss. I wanted damages. It was a little bit hard to prove damages because of a particular situation, and the lawyer, he was exhausted. So basically, he made a deal with me. I told y'all, and he said that my he said that I think how many one property he will foreclose for me for free. So I had a few more properties that was coming up that I wanted to foreclose on, and he worked with me on those. Okay, so that was my first good, bad, and ugly. The good was that the first 5 tax lien certificates that I invested in, as I told you, the first two redeemed and the last one redeemed for a little bit amount of money, but it was good. It was extra $40 something or something in interest. It wasn't a big investment. I think it was like an $850 tax lien. And it wasn't a lot of taxes, but I wanted to try the process. Okay. So I think totally I had spent like 25, and then I did 800. My goal was to spend less than 10,000. So I ended up spending about 7,000 or something on those 7,500. Okay. So moving forward, got that done, learned a lot from that experience. That was about a 2 year experience. So in that 2 years, I moved on into other properties, other counties. I said, I'm gonna leave Queen Anne County alone, and I moved into Prince George County and Carolina County. So those counties has actually been it's been separate stories for that, but I will give you some good, bad, and ugly. As far as Prince George County, that has been a county in Georgia. I mean, I do apologize, in Maryland, that seems to have been a high volume developing area. I seem to have that eye for places that look like the country, but developing, and then also in 2 years is like boom. So what ended up happening with one particular investment in Prince George, actually, how many? It was one. Okay, one property in Prince George. I was actually waiting 1 year and a half, going on 2 years for my deed, meaning that I went through with the foreclosure property process properly. We cleared the deed, but it was not recorded. It was stuck at the county's recorder's office and the county treasurer's office. Okay, this is why we break down that particular process of knowing what the county treasurer has to do and the county recorders. We go in detail. The reason why I go in detail, because when this happened to me, I really needed to know who do what and what do what, because I did not have my deed and I was just waiting very patiently. Okay, this was the same lawyer that I dealt with the first case. So he was doing a few foreclosures with me, and make a long story short, as that's why I emphasize some things. All lawyers are not created equal. But I really think that some lawyers are shut off and they just focus on certain things, and sometimes it becomes about the money. Now, I'm not saying this lawyer was like that, but I think he had burnout. Okay. So by the time we went through all of that lawsuit, and now we're doing more foreclosures and things, and COVID hit, things was a little bit weird. Make a long story short, he did made a few mistakes when it came to the paperwork going to the treasury office, which caused a minor delay. But what the real delay was is that the county treasury office was so backed up with so many developers coming to the area, needed permits, needed surveys, recorded, needing deeds, all types of stuff, because they handle more than one stuff at the treasury office. Okay, they don't only just handle your getting, transferring your deed and signing things over. But in this particular county, it was two individuals that was supposed to sign, which was the county treasurer's administrative director, and I was on the phone with her. I had to figure out what was her job, what was she supposed to do, and what was the holdup. Okay, that's why I break this down, because you got to get to the people, and then you got to have good communication skills, because they be frustrated, you be frustrated. So that this is why I point some things out when you watch my video, as far as being an investor and having a mindset too, because it could be frustrating. Another part to what was missing with this particular deed to go through in the treasury office is that they have another check and balance system. Not all the treasury offices have this, but a lawyer of the county had to check off and verify on everything. Okay, so when that happened, just so happened, allegedly, they said during the COVID that most of all the lawyers didn't come back that was working for the county prior to the COVID. So it caused a big mayhem as far as the paperwork being processed, things being verified. I guess when you deal with certain parties, as you say, they only know their particular job. So if there's probably other elements of the process, meaning verbiage, payments, signatures, they may have the lawyer to verify and the administrator just be the person that's in charge of the paperwork, making sure everything's in order, the signatures are there. Do you understand why they probably may have this check and balance system? Does it make sense? Okay. So it's annoying though. So what ended up happening is, and it's sad, I had to forward my complaint to the state attorney general's office, and I told her after going on almost 18 months. I said, now, this is ridiculous, Donna. I end up knowing her name. She was like, yes, I know. We had our ups and downs where she accused my lawyer not doing what he's supposed to do. I'm like, yeah, I know, but he did it 5 months ago. What's going on? Oh, yeah. Oh, whatever. These type of things going on. So anyway, she was like, well, you got to do what you got to do. So shortly after that, about a week or two later, I got an update from the lawyer's friend. Okay, not the lawyer's partner, because things was getting a little ugly, guys. The good, bad, and the ugly, just telling you the truth. So because the lawyer didn't follow up on the Prince George County's deed properly, and he made a mistake, my original lawyer, who I felt was burnt out, I was about to report him to the bar. Yes, I was. I like them, but not that damn much. You ain't gonna play with me, especially when I pay your money. So yeah, I prayed on it. I was holding it because it seemed like he wasn't correcting his mistake. Things was being prolonged. Communication wasn't happening. This is why I say you have to know what's going on, and you step in where the person fall off. I had to step in because I was letting him handle everything, and all of a sudden I wasn't hearing nothing. So that's when I started calling the Treasury office and talking to them and finding out more about the process of their particular county and what is missing. Okay, this is why we share that those particular details with you. Now, after I made my filing, about a week or two later, I got an update from my lawyer's partner, because when I called, wrote them letters and told them what was going on, to let them know this is egregious, his behavior is egregious, he acting like, it was just off the hook. I think he had COVID head, guys. I know on my other platform I talk about that. His whole behavior changed. So the partner was like, listen, you've been with us for a while. We see that you've been, you are a high investor. I want to make sure that this get handled properly. So he just continued on to where I left off with him and followed up. And we both was on the county, but to make sure that we had to get a new check to the county because the other one expired because the paperwork wasn't ran through. Checks expire in 90 days. So in 3 months, that check was sitting and they didn't cash it. This is how backed up the county was. So you want to be aware of this. And sometimes you're going to have to add this into your redemption process because something may occur. You have to be ready to perform. Okay, does this make sense? The good, the bad, the ugly. That's why I have this platform for you, because when you finish listening to this live, and we only 20 minutes in, you're going to see that I've been through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, and this is why I'm sharing this with you, because this is a new process that many people are going to get into because they have no other choice, especially because most of America is locked out of the market. Okay, we're going to be talking about that going up next week. So I finally got my tax deed from Prince George County, and I said I am never investing in it. Prince George County is actually a very, very prominent county, has a lot of good property. The price values of the properties in the 300,000s. That is in my room. I wanted to show you the actual one of the deeds, and I showed you the deed. I finally got the deed, and I wanted to show you a land survey. So once I move on to Prince George County, ready to sell this property, because I finally got the daggone deed, we're going to talk about it because there's another question mark on this property. Now, we're going to keep on Prince George. So now, these are things you need to be aware of as a tax lien investor when you're doing your soft title search as well. Some of this information sometimes don't be updated in the county. Sad but true, especially when you're dealing with old counties or old, like more rural counties. And it's sad, even in Georgia, when I first moved to this county I was in, their DMV is not connected to their licensee office. So when you get your license paid off, or your DMV, you pay your like a suspended license, you got to take that to the license place and get them to sign it. And when you're in a high volume state, like example Jersey, once you do it in one place, they go all through the system. You see what I'm saying? So it's a little different. So you need to know exactly what you're dealing with when you're going into these counties. So what ends up happening, allegedly, we're going to give you an update on this. I'm going back and forth with the county archive gentleman. You always got to build friendships. And it's so good because, I ask him these inquisitive questions and we talk back and forth. And he knows that I'm educated in this process. And he says some of the things that I ask him actually makes him, sharpen his sword and have to look and find out in detail. So he helped me with a few of my properties because it was Maryland archives. Okay. It wasn't just for that particular county. So this gentleman pulled up a survey that he had for this county, but I don't know if he pulled up the right one because he's saying that it is a junkyard. Because I asked them specifically, I said, do this place have an easement? Because when I'm looking at the particular survey you sent me, it looks like the easement is coming through. Is it someone's house or is that an empty place? You know what an easement can be. Now, this easement is going to be a rite of passage for me to get through because my property is behind other properties now. Okay. Now, I think this investment was like, I'm going to tell you, I forgot. It's probably like $1,200. But it's like almost 1 acre of land. But it's an odd shape. Remember, I told you that. But even if it's an odd shape, you may be able to do something. You can even lease it or sell it to realty companies, to electric companies. That's actually what I'm looking to do. That's why I look into these rural areas in Maryland, because I know that they're developing it. And if you have property out there, you can be part of that development and receive residuals. Okay, that's generational wealth, baby. Does it make sense? I got a hustler mentality because I don't really want to be landlord. That's annoying. Okay. Yeah. I dealing with my kids is landlord enough, my teenagers. But anyway, so right now he said is that, and I'm like, no. According to what I researched is this. So I'm gonna give you an update on the Prince George because that's probably gonna be one of my last properties that I'm gonna be selling, and then I'm gonna be holding off on the rest of my investments to see what happened with this market. Again, we're going to be talking about the market possibly on Friday. Monday, I'm just going to upload. I'm going to upload a live on Rumble, but it's going to be it's not going to be me live. It's going to be a video because I noticed Rumble, when I like upload a video, just not live, it don't really get into the algorithm. So what we're going to do is upload the risk of investing in tax liens and tax deeds on Monday, the formal one. And I'm just going to have it live streaming for y'all. Okay. So just please turn on y'all notification for both of our channels on Rumble, which is Secure Your Energy and Primetime Home Buyers. We kind of interchange information and build off each other. All right. So that was Prince George County. I said, don't you know no good, but they have some very, very high priced, beautiful property out there, land too. So go look at that. So other properties issues that you want to actually consider is building issues, permeable issues, wetland issues, and if your property is actually big enough to build something on it, if that's what you want to do. Okay. So now let's go into another county that I have invested in the past, which is Carolina County in Maryland. Okay. Another decent county, but they have really like sometimes the towns in the county is just disconnected. So I end up being in one of the counties that's a little bit disconnected. So I think I mentioned to you, one of the issues with this deed, even after foreclosing with the lawyers checking it off, all of this stuff that got to go on, come to find out the description does not match the actual mets and bounds and what's in the deed description. So it is the address. I do apologize. The address doesn't match the deed description, which the deed description is in the mets and bounds, which is located in the deed. Okay. Now, if you don't, that's why we go into mets and bounds and how to read a deed, because these are things that I had to learn. I was reading, I was like, well, this seemed like Freemasonry. What do they say? 2 inches, what do they say? 2 yards from the Stone Cold Crescent. Yeah, that's Mets and Bounds. So we're gonna be going to Mets and Bounds to teach you a little bit how to read that and where to find that when you're looking at the deed, when you're doing your soft title search. That's some of the things we show you in the soft title search seminar. And we're going to, dabble into it on a live for you guys. But it's very important because if you're doing your initial research and you're really into this property, you may want to go a little deeper because these are some mishaps. And it's so sad because once you are the person that owns it, you are the person that owns it. Meaning you are the person that's going to have to handle that. You're going to have to handle the business. So what end up happening now, I'm looking at this property. I'm going now. I'm going to check it out. I went there twice. And I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. Who is keeping the grass up with this? It's just being cut and everything. I'm happy. Come to find out, when I was starting to try to get the survey to find the survey, it wasn't a survey done. Okay. Find out that the neighbor had a survey done, because I had some boots on the ground. So the next way of kind of verifying your property, if you don't want to get a conventional survey done, is try to get good with your neighbors who got their survey done, and it's going to help you. So I was like, okay. In this situation, after I found out that basically when I was contacting the county to see did they have the survey on file and asked them specific questions, they started to I basically noticed that the description didn't match the address because they kept saying one thing and I kept saying another thing. And I'm like, why are you saying that? Because they were talking description. I was talking address, and I'm like, you saying this, but the house is not on this street. I mean, the property is not on this street. The land is on the other street. It's facing this. So why does it say this? So make a long story short, they like, oh man, the description is wrong, but the Mets and Bonds is right. The property is across the street. Across the street is the little old nice church. And I kept going. After that, I went there twice to try to get in contact with the preacher, but I could not. So I own this property for about 3 years now. Been paying 3 years of taxes on it. And the good thing was that I was like, bump it. Somebody is taking care of this property, this land right here. Like they mowing the grass. That's a blessing. So while I find out how to correct this mistake, I'm not going to really chase down the pastor and let him know because he probably the one that's taking care of it. God forgive. God knows. It's just God. It's not forgive me. It's just God. So I've been wanting to get in contact with this pastor and I could not. So I've been working with a realtor. Now that we got everything cleared up, which was the God be the glory that it was just the address and not the actual Mets and Bonds that was up wrong, because that would have cost a lot of or some money, at least $500 to get it corrected, get a judge to sign off, and then they would have corrected in the system. Okay, this is what could happen. I'm just the good, the bad, the ugly, the good. So I'm working with an amazing realtor. And we working on some things. She got contacts. That's why you always got to work with people who got contacts and just educate it. I'm teaching her, she teaching me. I'm teaching her, she teaching me. So we just building off each other. And she's like, listen, we could sell this property for more money if we're able to build on it. Let's find out if it's a buildable property. And I'm like, a buildable property, cool. I thought it was a buildable property, from what I looked at with its zone, it said residential. So as soon as you see you like residential, buildable property, no. Don't be fooled. It go a little bit deeper than that. I learned about perks from her. And I'm like, what the heck is a perk? She's like, well, you need to know if the land is perkable because that'll let you know if it's buildable and it has sewage and light. I said, excuse me, why am I perking it when it's literally a church right next to it? She was like, just because there's a church next to it doesn't mean it's perkable. So I happen to be lucky that this land is perkable. Okay, we found out from the county in this particular area, but I'm gonna tell you about another land that's not perkable. Okay, see, you learn something every day. You can actually contact the county and find out about the land if it is connected to utilities. Okay, you will contact the county executive office And it's not the assessor office. I'm trying to county management office. It's like a county management office. It's, you know what? I'm going to see if I find out a few interchangeable names for you, because in this particular county, it was the county management office, and it was a little county. So, what that goes to say, it was a lady there. She had like 5 titles, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's the daggone mayor, the secretary, everything there. But she was the person that was able to tell us was it purchasable or not. So you really got to do a little bit of research, okay? And that's why we say start with one county, get to know a lot of people there, be nice, and you just build your wealth there and then move forward with that method. So what ended up happening right now is that we wanted to find out, was the land able to be built on? Perkable just means it has water, they connected to the sewer, water and lights could be established. Okay, these are things that they find out with perkable. Perkable services is about $5,000. Okay, depending on the county. Okay, we're gonna go deeper into perkable, what that means. So now, so we wanted to know, was it buildable? In some counties, they have restrictions. You if you have a 1,700 square feet lot, that doesn't mean you can build a 1,700 square foot home. The county may have a restriction that the home can only be 10,000 square feet, the max, and have a walkway that's 2 feet wide, 2 by 2, whatever. You know how that goes. But it may be a certain circumference and things that you have to follow. That's why you have to understand the zoning and get into that if you're going to be building. Okay, this is what you want to know. So working backwards, I really don't want to build on this land because I'm not ready to build, but because it can increase the price value when you're selling the property, this is why you want to know it. You understand? You like, I'm not building, I don't care. Yes, you care, because when you're ready to sell that land, if you don't know if it's buildable, you're not going to market it properly. So that alone, basically what she was doing was going to the county's monthly meeting that they had for zoning and planning. This is how deep it goes. And we were going to petition to see, can we get a home built on this particular land, because the square foot allegedly was too small for a home, as per one of the county workers. And I kept telling her, who is this county worker that told you that? She was like, I don't know. I think it's the I said, wait, we need to get to the facts. Who is the boss? And when she went into it, we found the boss had 30 jobs. And also one of the jobs was running the meetings once a month. And also, if you have any projects, any things, petitions or things, you can get yourself on a roster. So we're going to get on a roster to see if we can petition to see if we can get it approved for buildable. Now we get it approved freely, it's free to go, is a process, but we get it approved, and that would increase the amount that we were going to sell a property for. Make a long story short, the first person didn't know what she was talking about. We literally could build 2 homes on that little piece of land in Maryland, and makes the properties, the investment, which was, that investment was like $1,200. The foreclosure in itself was like $3,500. So it makes this property value up to 20,000 of the land. The land. She said I could sell it up to 20,000. It's not a big piece of land. So I was like, cool. But the pastor, the pastor, he has been maintaining the land, things like that. So now I'm ready to move forward a couple of years later. I'm like, pastor. So we're in communication right now, and those things are underway to see if he wants the land before we move forward to sell it to another investor. I don't think I'm going to build. But that's the good and bad. I'm not going to build this year. I'm just going to keep flipping. I'm telling you my story so you can see how real this is. I'm not just teaching you stuff. I'm not just talking. I'm walking how I talk. So that is that situation. So it's still, we're working on, I told you this is a seller season, but then it's going to be a buyer season, and you need to know how to buy. Right now, we're locked out of the market. Conventional loans are up to the kazoo. People have been displaced from work. They don't even meet the qualifications. They're being outbid by investors, not me, but you know what I'm saying, like the JP Morgans and all of them, the ones who own the bank portfolio of homes. So we have to find our way into this market, and I believe that this is the best way. Okay, as of when I sell my home that's under mortgage, that will be the last home that I ever own that's under mortgage. God be the glory, because I ain't gonna say the last home that I own, but under the death mortgage. Okay, we gonna run this tax lien and tax deed. Okay, we gonna run this. Okay, we're gonna do this together, and I'm gonna share my stories with y'all, and I'm gonna teach y'all. And you learn, you don't, you like it, you do. All I'm saying is hit the like button so I can be in the algorithm, and more people can learn this, because we're gonna have to put as much property back in the average person's pocket. I mean, yeah, proper pocket is possible, because we're losing right now. We're not falling for the own nothing and be happy. That's why you're on this channel. We're going to own everything, and we're not going to own Pappy nothing. Pappy is the bankers. All right. I'm on Rumble, so I'm a little bit loose today. I can say what I want, because actually Rumble, I have stopped streaming on YouTube. I'm going to be honest. This is my second week. I am over it. I have been working really hard on YouTube, and the spins are not where it's supposed to be. I have a lot of amazing information. As y'all see, when y'all really watch and listen, y'all learn a lot. I don't know if y'all could take the face, the voice, but y'all love me. Y'all gonna love Nurse Lashley. I got a good heart, and I keep it 100. Straight bullet. Okay. Now, other things that you want to know about. So, okay, we talked about that property. So the next property that I'm selling, what issue? Oh, the perkableness. That property was where I had to highlight the perkableness, and that's what I was talking to her about. Like, I was really surprised that this property was not perkable. Okay. And that was even verified before I did the actual have to pay $5,000. We contact the county, and they was like, no, we're actually still working on getting the funds from the government to have general power and wells in that area. So I'm like, what? There's houses, there's business. This is a house right next to my property, like the land. What are we talking about? So you cannot just look at land and say, yeah, it can get lights or electricity. No. So basically what she said, in this little sector where I'm at, and it's a beautiful piece of land, that people buy their own wells and set up their own electricity grid thing. I'm still learning about this building stuff. Okay. So I'm like, what? But it's good. Okay. But she says that the land will possibly be perkable via the county in about 3 years. So my realtor was like, hold on to it. You can hold on to it for 3 years. The taxes is not that much. And then, so God be the glory. Every time I go visit this property, I try to meet the neighbor there, because that is always your first choice when you got land. Who's the neighbors? They may want it. And in that particular property, as I mentioned, or did I tell you guys, but it's a Spanish guy there. And I always try to come and speak to the family. And I never met the Spanish guy, but I met his wife and I met his kids. It seemed like she homeschooled, because they was always home during the daytime, because I'm coming on Monday, Tuesday, daytime. But the little Spanish girl, she had to be like 7, 8. She was the translator. She used to translate to her mother for me. And I'm like, could you have your husband call me, please? I'm really thinking about selling this property, and I want him to be the person that gets the first bid. So I could never get in contact with him for about 2 years. I just kind of left it alone, and because I wasn't ready to sell a property. And God be the glory. Guess who we got in contact with? So we got a 2-for-1 possibly sellers that are right next to the property, right next to the land. This is some of the things that you can do as a tax lien and tax deed investor. It doesn't have to be that hard. Can be a little technical, but you will reap the benefits of putting in the work. Okay. I'm going to say in these 3 particular properties that I'm working on closing, like I said, the first batch I spent like $7,500. The second batch of properties I bought only 4, 1 redeemed, and 3 I'm kind of telling you about. So I had a portfolio of about 9 properties total in my 5 years, which I find is great for me, for someone who is a private investor, a nurse, somebody who just learned this through tragedy. So I would have my hands on 9 properties, the things that I told you went through, what didn't go through. This where we at. So The last property, so we talked about that, the perkability. Now I am going to move forward into other states. Okay. I've been doing my due diligence in every state. I have not invested in Georgia as of yet, but I'm very thorough in my capabilities. I have been going to tax lien sales. I've been scoping out. I've been meeting people. So it's all about making the right move at the right time. So we're going to be keeping you posted on that because I'm probably going to be between Georgia. I need a free state that's not Confederate, okay? Because y'all know I'm black. It is what it is. Sometimes I'll be on some platforms, they really be saying reckless stuff just because I'm black. I could be saying good information, they just be ignorant. So that's how it is in the real world too. So I'll pick and choose where I go because I don't deal with the nonsense, okay? So with that goes to say I need to pick a state that is free from the COVID restrictions, as well as non-Confederate. That is multi-grain. That people just mind their business, live their life, and the hate ain't there. I mean, it's scattered, but you could find it. You could just do it through statistics, as I show you. So that's some of the good, bad, and the ugly as far as what I experienced. I want to be transparent with you guys. So I did let you know that my portfolio is at 9, 5 years later. And I'm looking to have a portfolio about 15 at least by, and I'm saying my portfolio is not what I hold, but everything that I have touched and I have done. Okay. Because I don't want to really hold a lot of property. Some I do, depending on the market, because I don't want to be a landlord or nothing like that. I just want to have funds, residual income coming in, and then have a hold on property just in case. Does that make sense? That's my goal. You let me know what's your goal at the bottom. Let me know what your goal is, okay, when you're entering this. Someone said, I really want a house to live in. Now, what I would say to that is don't hold your breath. Meaning it's going to be a process depending on the state. So it's not the conventional loan process where you have, depending, about 3 months and you get into your place. Like I said, in Maryland is a 6 month foreclosure. It's a 6 months redemption process. In Georgia is 1 year redemption process. I think in Florida is 1 year redemption timeline, meaning that's when you're going to move forward to foreclose in these particular states. So it's not going to be invest today, I move in tomorrow. Even with deed states, there's a little wait. You have to make sure that everything is clear with the deed, everything is transferred, and that also that you have possession of the property. Sometimes when you get these deeds, people are still inside. So you'll have to move forward with the conventional eviction process. That may take a little while. You already see about the eviction memorandums and all this stuff. So you want to be aware. That's why you do your research. It's like, is there somebody in here? A lot of information is public information. You can ride by and see if it's people in the home, not go knock on the door, but just do your due diligence. Have boots on the ground. So the main thing is to take your time, know what you're looking to do from the beginning before you even choose a state. What's your goals? What's your budget? My budget is not to spend more than $10,000 each round that I invest. Okay, I build my little money up. I save my money. I'm like, cool. We're gonna buy about 5 tax liens. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna buy 4, depending on what it is. And that's how I've been doing it in increments. So that's why in this 5-year term, I was able to have a portfolio of 9 at least. Does it make sense? This is realistic as it's going to get. This is realistic as it's going to get. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. I didn't really look at the chat, but if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any suggestions for the content that you want to see, I'm here for you. Instagram, thank you so much for being patient with us. We're cleaning up our Instagram page because I think we got bots on them. Okay. I did marketing that I thought was marketing. Okay. When you go to these promo page, they bring damn bots to your page. So I need to rebuild Instagram, Rumble. If you on Instagram, please go to my Instagram page. I won't delete you, but we're going to be deleting a lot of these bots off. So if you get deleted, just go sign back up. All right, give me a second, y'all, Rumble, because I'm going to be showing y'all our members only section while I actually log off of Instagram.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all. Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access. The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyer.buyback.org and sign up today for course access.